Boom, and we're live. Welcome back to another edition of the First Division podcast. Back again with my good friend Jorge. What have you been decanting, my friend?
I've been decanting some Argentinian Syrah, my friend.
Yeah.
It's pretty
How is that
good.
working out for you?
It's working.
what does decanting do? What does it bring
Well,
out in?
it's just like airs it out,
Yeah.
So you put more oxygen in the wine, and it just makes it tasty.
Yes. So like how long do you decant it for before you start pouring it?
Oh, you can let it sit. I usually like what I do is I chilling the wine a little bit cooler. Let's say like the room temperature is like 8 or 12 degrees. I usually
Right.
go like 14 degrees, which is a little bit colder. I
Hmm.
like the wine a little bit colder.
Right.
And but once you bring it out, so you let it sit a little bit and then you decant it so it catches up a degree or so. So it also makes it better. And plus the air in it is just makes it so much fluffier.
So if you when you're chilling it a little bit colder, and then when you let it
Right.
sit in the decanter for I
Exactly.
don't
You
know.
take it out,
Yeah.
15, 20 minutes,
Right.
and then you pour it into the decanter slowly and get some air goes through it and just let it sit a little bit more until it gets chilled out, until it gets just warms up a little bit.
So even though that the temperature of the wine is going up because the air, it's making it taste better than if you were just to open up a bottle right from the store.
All right, exactly.
Wow,
Well,
that
every
sounds
wine should sit a little bit,
sure.
before you even at the store, sitting at the store, you take it home, bumping up in the cart and stuff in the car.
Yeah.
So it's not good. Every wine should sit at least, 24 to 48 hours until it just sets down all right,
Right. Before
back where it should be.
yeah, so the wine can settle down and get into its kind of fermentation
The old
setting.
routine, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Exactly.
I guess when it's bumping up and down the wine, I guess it gives it kind of a bit of a shock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Plus you don't have a right temperature. It's usually overheated.
right.
So most of the time, so probably warmer than colder. Even it's a cold temperature right now, but even so, it doesn't. It's not cooled properly.
So even if you buy like a wine from a wine shop, is it advisable to, or what you like to do? Do you when
No, you shouldn't be drinking it
you
right
should
away.
wait?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
And what's your favorite wine to kind of decant? What was it?
Well, I like Syrah or Cabernet Sauvignon.
Those are heavy hitters, man. Those are good
Yeah,
wines. Yeah.
yeah. So I like those.
Is it possible to like decant white wines as well, or is it mostly like with reds? I don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can. Any
Yeah.
wine is kind of good to decant. Yeah.
Y-
It just bubbles it up, gets the air in it. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what kind. But I prefer red wines over white wines. But even so, it doesn't matter. You can decant any wine.
That's pretty cool, man. When was it like when was it that you started getting into wines and like kind of experimenting with different wines or
Well, I think by traveling through California, we're just kind of trying to look at places. And now that I read it, I was just going up to it today as decanting because I just read that some places in Napa Valley kind of hooking up with Australian wine, and they blending like 70% of Napa Valley Syrah with actually Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon with 13%, so be whatever 67 or whatever the percentage is.
right?
And 13% California Syrah, so they're saying it's pretty good. So
So they're mixing Australian grapes with Californian grapes.
yeah. Mhm.
Well, I heard that Australia probably I wonder where they grow grapes in Australia. It probably has to be, the climate must be similar to that of California.
Probably even hotter, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
So,
Have you ever
I
had?
don't think they have kind of a mountains like we have in California, when we don't getting the moisture right through, but we're
Yeah,
getting that moisture filtered through the forest and the mountains, and we're just getting that nice little descent of the fog into the vineyards in Napa Valley and Santa Barbara Valley,
I
Santa Barbara
know.
County, you know.
You get that nice sea breeze going in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So, and you don't getting really that air from the sea, but you're getting that nice moisture over the mountains, and the hot weather there creates one
yeah.
of the best grapes, you know.
In those pockets and those areas where they grow grapes in California are kind of perfect for that.
Mhm.
How, I wonder how they started that, like growing grapes, like with a purpose, not just drinking like wine to, because remember like in the olden days where like people drank wine more or beer more because the water was, they didn't have a process of how they can clear the water, you know?
Right,
So they had to drink wine because the alcohol killed the bacteria.
exactly.
But I wonder where it started with wine, where they said, you know what, this place is actually better for growing grapes, then it's better than this place. You know, they started to actually experiment with wines, and they
Right. I think even in the early days, they must have figured out that more sun or more warm creates more sugar. Sugar is the basic ingredient for many kind of alcohol or fermentation. So you need sugar, and more, if the plant is more sugary, then you have more alcohol or more you can make out of it. The sugar does the thing. So that, I think they figure it out when the warmer weather is actually better. But then soil has a lot to do with it as well. So
I know that it's really interesting how like all these combinations of things have to come together if you want to make a good tasting wine,
exactly.
and a good tasting wine that you want to put out to the market and sell. It's they have a whole science about it. You can learn
Yeah,
how to really
sure.
hone in your skills to make a really decent wine.
Of course. Like that guy in the Flying Pigs in Santa Barbara County there where we go, that uh, he has like not even an acre of a plan, and he's doing his own stuff, but it's, man, I think that's comparable to anybody. But he just have like 300 boxes, that's about it, right? 300 cases, that's it. But the wine is really delicious.
So how does that happen? What kind of market do you think that wine grower's in? I mean, obviously he's not going to cater to the people who just want to go and get a bottle of wine from a wholesale place. I mean, where do they, what
He
kind of
just sell
market
it.
do you think?
He just sell it locally, and mainly on 300 cases. You can just really drink it on your own with the family.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, I mean, he sells it locally in the local restaurant and local places, and gives it out on some kind of barbecue special, and it's just basically for his own use. But it's
Yeah, I
it's
think
just delicious
I,
wine.
I think that's the key. I mean, as long as you get it in a restaurant or a cafe and people, and you make a contract like that, I think he's set, man.
Mhm.
That wine is delicious.
Exactly. So
It's really tasty, man. Yeah, man. I mean, so like wine is very interesting because it's different than wine and beer are interesting kind of drinks because they all have a certain style. I've been like reading different things about it. There's a certain process to making wine and beer that you have to follow in order it to be classified wine or beer. But the ingredients that goes into it and the timing and the barrels and things like that, that's what really brings out the flavors of all these
exactly.
different
And then
types
you
of
have to
wine.
watch it really closely. So how long you're gonna leave it in this barrel, change it to in a different barrel, and then you're using a new barrels, used barrels, because everything gives a different flavor. I mean, they use they use like used barrels, and it's like, what can you get out of used barrels? when you get something which you don't get from the new barrel. Everything is much stronger and heavier, and in the old barrel, everything is a little completely different, but you can still use it. So it's kind of interesting. Plus, you have that wine soak it from the different wine. It's just all just kind of nice and neat science.
Yeah. And do you prefer wines that are 100%, like when you buy a bottle of wine, do you like when the bottle of wine is 100% of one grape, or do you like a mixture of varieties of grapes in your wines? What do you prefer?
Well,
Or
sometimes I used to prefer like just a whole, just one grape,
right,
one grape from a certain type.
like
But
100%
yeah,
Cabernet.
100% Cabernet.
Yeah,
But then you kind of creates a different tastes with this other element. So it's kind of it's once it's good. So why would you be against it?
yeah, sure. No, I
You
agree. I
get
mean,
13%, bring up another, blackberries and leather and all that kinds of stuff and cigars. I mean, why wouldn't you go for that?
I think, I mean, if you're having a whatever wine you're having at that moment, and for me, I'm always a big fan of what you like.
Mhm.
So whatever the wine is, even if it's 100% or it's a mixture of varieties, it depends. A lot of the things that you enjoy in life are things that, like, depending on the atmosphere, right? So if you're having a nice steak on the grill and you're bringing out a varietal wine
Exactly.
or or some cigars or other drinks involved, I mean, then you know that it's going to be good. Anyway,
Exactly. So what? See, it's like, so why would why don't get another taste from this? I mean, it's just like it's a nice craft. I mean, I like craft because it's unique, because I cannot hammer the copper and make the exact same hammer and the same exact place, but that's why it's unique. That's why this plate has a 6,000 hammer bots and not 655, because I couldn't put them in there. So it's like, same thing with the wine. I mean, if you get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you can taste different fruit and things out of it, go for it.
have you been improving your palate? Can you differentiate the different taste of grapes, or can you only still just uh, taste the
No, I
difference
think
between
so.
red
Yeah.
and white? Or
No, no. I think I can pretty much taste all the other stuff in there. So that's what
so,
I was talking about.
yeah, so you're getting pretty good at it, that tasting these fruits. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm still not at that level, man. I'm not at that level. I could taste the difference between the wines.
Right.
So I could taste the difference between, let's say, a Syrah and a Cabernet Sauvignon. And of course, you can tell the difference between. I could tell the difference between the wines. Let's put it that way. But I can't differentiate what I'm tasting in the wine that I'm drinking at the moment. I can't
Right.
do that. I'm not that
Right.
skilled. My
It's
my
also depends on your how else you feel. Like, if you have a good meal, if you have a different things in your mouth, it's kind of like you kind of have to be kind of, it's I would say like a psychological matter too. What do you got going?
right.
It's a little your own psyche. You know, it's
Well,
like
I can appreciate crafts, man. That's why I like ceramics. Ceramics are great because ceramics is somebody took the time to put together, a bowl or a plate or a cup,
exactly,
and it's different from anybody else who makes it. It's not just from the
exactly,
factory. I like craft stuff. I like handwork.
exactly. Because it's crooked on purpose. I mean, you can buy the crap from China and everyone, and 55 million is same like the other.
Sure.
So, okay, so everybody wants the same cylinder on the head. Okay, be it. But if you want a cap, which there's a little finger tip on it, and it's a little crooked, and it's a little wobbly, and it's a little lopsided, and it's a little this, and a little sagging, and it's the color is not all the, it's got burn on one side, and it's all appreciated. in that kind of stuff. And I think wine is the same way.
Yeah, I mean, everything has its place, right? I mean, yeah, sometimes you want something that's just cookie cutter and, out of the
Right.
box and perfect. And then some of it is just you want to have a good time and just relax and
Right.
just appreciate the fact that somebody's taking the time to make these products, man. Uh,
And
so
it's every time is different because every year is different. I mean, it's rain a little more hot, a little more cold, something freeze. I mean, like people saying, well, this frozen. Well, it doesn't matter. That makes a good ice wine. They don't care. I mean, you have to. It's a product for. You can do anything out of everything. Good
yeah,
stuff.
I've seen recently that they've tried to in the champagne and prosecco market, they're bringing out these kind of ice champagnes and ice wines or sparkling wines. I think they're pretty good. I like them.
Yeah, I know.
Do you with the ice champagne? Do you drink it how they say? You chill it and then put ice cubes in it with a little bit of mint, or you just chill it and then drink it?
I usually just drink it like that, not with the ice.
Yeah, I don't either. I just
Yeah.
chill it and then just drink it normally.
Yeah.
It's a
But
little bit for me. The taste is a little bit diluted because I think it's not as strong. It's not strong because I think what they're counting on is that you're going to dilute it with ice.
right.
So they don't want to put so much. I don't know. They don't ferment it as long, or they don't put a lot of alcohol in it because I think the point of it is that you're going to dilute it with ice, and then it's going to
Right.
bring out that flavor naturally.
hmm
But I think it's great. Well, I think it's great champagne or prosecco. I think
Oh,
it's a good
sure.
market.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's pretty nice.
Well, like I said, I mean, I don't understand sometimes why there's people who are so snobbish that they're going to deny themselves the experience of trying something else. I don't know why people limit themselves.
Yeah, well, sometimes they just, the Zelena is the way to go. So,
You mean that peppermint drink?
yeah, right.
Oh my God, man, that peppermint. I remember, speaking of peppermint, I remember one time I had so much of that. I had it. Okay, so they served this. I went to this bar where they served the peppermint schnapps
Right.
in a beer glass.
Oh, my God.
So I had a whole.
Oh, yeah, like you drop one in there or something?
No. You know how they usually serve it, where they serve it with the beer, and then you drop the Fernet in the
Right.
beer, or the
Right.
Zelena in the beer. No. This was, instead of beer, it was peppermint.
The whole glass.
The whole glass was peppermint.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. It was I don't know. I don't know why the bartender served it like that. He just could have just gave me the bottle, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, that night let's just say I don't remember much from that night afterwards.
That's memory eraser.
Yeah, it was so disgusting, man. I mean, I guess it's okay if you have a little shot of it, but if you're drinking a half liter of it, bro, that's not good.
Oh, no, that's not good.
Oh, so anyway, man, what else is going on?
Pretty much same old.
Yeah.
Just to try to make it happening. So
Are you relaxing?
yeah, pretty much. Try to figure out what we're gonna attack next week. So we just got.
Well, I like these podcastings, man, because all you have to do is click go live.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of relaxing. I mean,
For me, it's therapeutic.
Yeah, so you got a new ideas, because I'm just tired of reading all this bullshit on the internet. what's going on here and there. But I just find that good article about the wines, about the Australians and stuff. So
Right.
because here you have more chance, like in California, you get mostly overwhelmed with California wines, which is good because it's good stuff.
Sure.
But here you get a little bit more variety. No, I'm not saying you don't get variety there, but you don't go for it because like that's not acceptable. Because like
Yeah.
Malbec from Argentina is one of the best, but once you're sucking Malbec from Cisco, saying,
Yeah.
I don't know about that Argentinian one.
Right. Exactly.
So,
You're gonna go for the one from California all the time.
exactly. So you're kind of reluctant to go somewhere else. But here, you don't have much California wines. So you get more like Chilean wines, Argentinians, and so forth, South America and Australia, which,
Yeah.
they have good stuff as well, because
Yeah.
people try to do that even in California. They go back to Australia and says, hey, what we can do from there. And I think they're hooking up now quite nicely from Napa Valley to bringing stuff together because the market needs it.
Well, I always considered Napa Valley to be like the forerunner of all wines. They do the most experimentation about all types of wines and wine varieties.
Right.
One because the vineyards are really big.
Yeah, because you can. I mean, you have so much wine, you don't know what to do with it. So
Right, exactly.
if a couple bottles go wrong, so be it.
Yeah, I don't think they really. I don't think it really matters
Because they know how to do it right. So let's put it this way: once you figure out how to do it right, you can start doing more different things. You can venture out.
Right, exactly. They have enough experience where even if they make a mistake, they know how to tweak it here and there to make it the way they want it anyway.
You bottle it and you send it to Trader Joe's and it's gone.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I
It's
know.
the way
What
to
I
do
like
it.
what I like is I'm starting to get into the variety too. I like the variety where it also expands your kind of thinking as well, because once you start expanding to different regions and things like that and experiencing new things, you get a taste of, like, for example, the other day we were drinking a Chilean wine, and just out of curiosity, I said, where is this vineyard located? Right. So I went on Google
Right.
Maps and I typed in the vineyard. I don't remember the vineyard at the moment, but I
Right.
typed it in on Google Maps and I looked at the region that it is, and Chile is beautiful. And then I started
Yeah.
researching it and
No,
what you could do. There's people, you could be a club member. They have all types of wine
sure.
varieties, and
It's
you
actually
can have it.
similar, but it's on the coast. It's similar to California, pretty much. Like, I mean, it's different, but it's kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly. I was looking at that region. It's basically, it looks like kind of the middle to northern California, kind of
Mhm.
dry, arid, but still kind of mild temperature, because you're getting, south of Chile,
Right. Mhm.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And so, when you're experimenting with different things, you kind of expand your knowledge of the world around
Absolutely.
you.
Exactly. Absolutely. So
I,
you
I
have
think
like good wines from South Africa as well, too. South Africa is a good wine.
they're actually they make some really good wine. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
they're even on the market here, so you can buy
right.
some South
Sure. Yeah,
African wine.
they do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they're really good wines.
So there you go. It's
I
all
could
something.
see I could see why people might be a little bit skeptical only because of the distance, right? The shipping.
Right.
But But to be honest, I see only people who are buying wines. Like when I go to the shops to see who people are buying wines, most of the people buy wines according to their budget. So if it's on sale, they buy it, right?
Right.
But if you look at it, I look at the different regions because I usually, divide it by different regions: Italian wines, French wines, and so on. And I've noticed that people venture out and buy new wines, and and try different things. And I think it's
Right.
great. I think it's great for people to try different things so that you just don't get stuck in one thing and then deny yourself. That's my point, right? If you stick to one thing only, of course you're going to stick to whatever is good for you and that you like. That's great. But if you deny yourself to experiment with other different things, I think you're kind of limiting your life experience in a little bit, because you know you can always fall back on the things you like, right? Because that's a staple, right?
Right.
If you like say you like Jack Daniels, right? So you like Jack Daniels, you like that's the best bourbon, you like it, you drink it, and you say it like, okay, I like it so much, I'm not going to try other bourbons or whiskeys or
Right.
scotches or anything like that. Well, I think you're denying yourself a new experience. You can always fall back to Jack Daniels. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's always going to be there. So something like that. It's food, traveling, anything like that.
Right. Exactly. That's what it is. Like you fall into this one little lake, and it's best for you because you love it for some reason, whatever is ticking your bone, right? So that's the same thing like on camping, or you like a certain spots, you like your certain island, you like a certain beach, you like a certain river. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
uh, because you're happy about it, so that's the thing. So
Yeah, and you know that every time you go there, you're going to have a nice experience.
mhm.
I think, I don't know, I think with humans, I think we need that as humans. We like to go to places or do things that make us feel good.
Right.
We like that. That's why I think social media is really really popular for people, right? For people, it's when people click the likes or the hearts, they
Mhm.
get people get this rush,
Mhm, right.
right? They're gonna go back to it if they know that they're gonna get so like you post a picture on Instagram and people give you hearts, right? Meaning they like it. Well, the more hearts you get, you're like, oh wow, I got 10 likes, so people like my photo. You got to post another photo, right,
Right.
to get another 10 likes or more, right? People like that. People like to know that what they're doing, they get that kind of validation of what they're doing is right. People like that.
Mhm.
I think that's really a human that's our human nature. We like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what has been the newest kind of articles, or what have you been reading lately?
uh not nothing, not things going on. The rover landed, so I just kind of look at that a little bit. It's a big sucker. It's not like a small little toy. It's a good car-sized rover on
Yeah,
Mars now.
yeah.
That's kind of interesting to me. See what they gonna dig up there.
What is the aim of the rover? What do
I
they?
just I think they're just searching for prehistoric life or anything like that right now. If anything possibly been there before, like life.
They say, I've
I
read a
think that,
theory.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
I,
it's
I've
like the theme is like to looking for life, whatever was there, and if there is anything before for humans.
I've read a theory where they think the scientists think, or some historians think, that people were living on Mars, and they were able to have they something happened on Mars that they had to evacuate Mars, and they went to Earth. I don't know if I believe that theory, but I'm
I
not
don't
so
know.
sure.
That's why I don't understand why we were going back to Mars. There's nothing there, and it could possibly get worse when it's getting worse here.
Right.
I
So
that's I don't understand that theory for that, but sure.
Unless the point of it is that they had some kind of nuclear, or they reached a point in society where they couldn't sustain living on Mars, and there was a cataclysmic event, and so they traveled to Earth, and then they repopulated Earth.
No.
That's the theory, or one theory.
But if they're, if they were like really good and bringing rockets or whatever, a spaceship to come over here, we haven't find any of it like that. There was nothing like that in the history of it. We finding dinosaurs, we finding different things, but nothing like that nature. We haven't find a spaceship or anything like that. How did they got here?
Well, that's a question. I mean, that's a good question. I don't know either. But if they were, my question where I don't understand that theory is if they were able, if those beings were able to get to a point in society or in their lives that they were able to build spaceships that they were going to intergalactically fly or travel to, I mean, Earth and Mars are not that very far apart. Why would they stop on Earth? Why wouldn't they keep going to somewhere else? Why would they go back towards the sun?
Right. I don't know. That's the thing. There is nothing. I mean, we're saying we're not that smart. That we always think there's a smarter technology than us. But I mean, bringing the rover and spaceship to the Mars, that's not a stupid thing. I mean, that's pretty sophisticated engineering. So to me, even we are stupid or not, but this is not stupid. Not everybody can do that. I mean, nobody else doing that, just us humans.
Right.
I haven't seen dogs shooting rocket or anything else on the planet. If we are the only ones, maybe we are behind whatever we are, but ain't not stupid. So
Yeah, I don't think it's stupid. I think we're at a technological high point in our society
right,
right now.
sure,
We're really high. I mean, if you compare technology when King Henry VIII was around to now, I mean, you
exactly.
if you were to take a screenshot or a snapshot of those different time periods, they you wouldn't be able to compare it. It would look like two different planets to
Right.
me.
But look at even now, since like let's say when the first Apollo started, I mean, so far now, it's what, 50 years?
Yeah.
So 50, 60 years, but look at the space race right now. Now we have a space race. These guys going this, these guys going there, this guy's shooting rockets there, this guy's shooting satellites, these guys shooting for Mars. We have sucker on the Mars. China landed on the moon. I mean, we have really race for space race right now.
Do you think that these countries that are making these space races or these space explorations, are they trying to make a claim of these planets, or is it supposed to be for the whole world? Or
I don't know. That's why I'm really glad that Mr. Trump created a space force. I mean, that could be a really valuable issue here. That's why we have a space force. We are the first country to establish something like that to deal with this, because it's gonna come really nasty pretty soon.
I was wondering, like, do you think that the stuff that we have on Earth now, this is crazy. I don't know, but the stuff that we have on Earth doesn't exist on Mars, or it doesn't exist until we bring it. For
Yeah, well,
example,
so far we
like,
can find anything exists there.
well, I mean, does beer exist on Mars or not?
Or before, or
No, no, now, like, does it exist, or it won't exist until humans bring beer to Mars, for example?
I think you're gonna have to bring it there.
So it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Yeah, I don't know. I've always wondered that. Like, if it's is it even possible to have stuff like that on Mars? Like, can you have clocks? Can you have video games? Can you have cars? Can you have
Well, I think you can, but I mean, you're really starting with scratch. You look at the place.
so so then Mars is basically Earth as it was millions of years ago.
Well, or Earth, what it will be.
Right.
I don't think the Earth ever was like this. I think Earth always was the way it is, and it could be what Mars is. I think that's my theory, because Earth, I think Mars is kind of expired because it's too hot, different gases. There's no air, there's no water, so I really think that living there as our humans at this stage would be very, very difficult. Can you imagine living under some kind of tent when something breaks the hull, even some kind of meteorite or whatever? What are you gonna do? I mean, how do you patch it? Do you have
Huh.
somebody on the outside or somebody in the inside and watch out all this shit all the time?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
the rocks come into the earth all the time, but doesn't really harm us because we have atmosphere. So the
Right.
sucker comes through, either burn completely, or even if it don't burn, it slams to the earth. If it's in the city, yeah, it's devastating. And if it's in the somewhere in tundra or desert, it doesn't mean much. It's just boom, and we're done with it, and it doesn't really hurt us. But can you imagine we create like something when you grow a salad under the glass, and then some shit coming through and make a hole in it, and if whatever coming in starts killing us? I cannot imagine that kind of emergency repair.
Yeah, it would be almost impossible to make that happen to repair something like that. But I was thinking,
You have to
well,
think of some kind of technology to do that.
well, Elon Musk. Elon Musk is,
Exactly.
he was.
That's advanced.
Well, Elon Musk is he has that company, that boring company. He digs those
Yeah.
tunnels under LA and stuff like
Right.
that.
You
I
will
wonder
either
if
live underground. Yeah,
yeah,
that would be the safest.
I wonder if he has that in mind to dig underneath the soil of
I would
Mars.
think so. Yeah, probably so. But,
Because if you dig under the ground, under the soil, you wouldn't have to worry about that
but
situation
just
about.
figure this: I can be in the wine cellar for 2 days, but 2 years, I don't think so.
I think it. Yeah, yeah.
We cannot live underground. We are
Well,
not.
being underground. Well, we
Even
don't
if it's
live
as
underground.
as it can be. I mean,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
need
humans never lived
Yeah,
underground.
yeah, we are not prepared for that.
Yeah.
That would be
The, o-
completely takes generations to
the
change.
the only way that I think that people would get used to living underground is if people were able to live and survive that first, let's say, 10 years underground on Mars, have children, and then those children have children, and maybe 4 generations of people, and he would be getting used to living underground.
Yeah,
Maybe.
talking 100, 200 years at
Right.
least from the beginning.
At least.
Yeah,
That's, of course, if everything's successful, like you bring water, you're able to sustain
exactly.
food, there's, or
Right.
you're able to, we talked about it a little bit before, is if you were able to, let's say you started running out of food, but you were able to make the traveling between Mars and Earth shorter, instead of 6 months,
Right.
16 hours or so, then you would be able to create a kind of trade system between Earth and Mars and bring food and crops back and forth really easily.
Exactly. But how do you self-sustain over yourself underground under Mars? I mean, everything you will have to bring the UV light. I mean, they can do all kinds of stuff, but I mean, forget about canoeing under some kind of river, or the life have to be changed completely different. I mean, you can grow some crops during making UV lights and stuff like that. But I mean, come on. I mean, you're never gonna sit up there when butterflies is sitting in the middle of the field and there's birds and butterflies. I mean, forget about that. You can replace this place we have here.
Unless they're able to like terraform Mars, that it becomes similar.
Yeah, but that has something to do with atmosphere, which it doesn't have.
Which is really interesting. Exactly. I mean, nothing grows up there. What
Right.
you know, I it's weird to me that if Earth is in what they call that Goldilocks zone, where it's the perfect size, perfect distance from its star,
Right.
it has an atmosphere, it has a the perfect combination of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, everything that's sustainable for life, right? Then Mars obviously falls out of that region,
Right.
out of that zone. But what's
Doesn't have
always
it.
interesting or always fascinating to me that there isn't something that's able to survive in that type of atmosphere. Like
Yeah.
how
There
come
is.
we have 9 planets and all of those 9 planets, nothing exists except one or 8. I'm sorry, because Pluto, they
Right.
don't count anymore. Poor Pluto. But they, there's nothing growing or nothing that's been able to adapt itself to those conditions, whatever that planet has.
And most of them
That
are just a gas too.
which is also strange. How
You
can a
know.
gas be rotating so quickly and so
I know.
fast and has so much gravity that it forms an actual how is it possible that that's always fascinated me.
It's big too.
Yeah, it's like Earth has the ground, it has a crust, and it's
Right.
still a circle. And for example, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, uh,
The
and
gases.
Saturn, they're all big and just gas.
Right.
And they spin just like Earth around the sun, and they're able to be circular in shape as well.
Right.
What's with circles, man?
No. It's get to you, dude.
I know.
You see more circles than square. Square you have to make it. Circles you can see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, can you imagine? You would be like in Mars. You'd be definitely living like in a bunker for the rest of your life.
Yeah. More likely. I don't see it any otherwise. Living underground is probably the only way you can sustain that,
Dude.
because you will have to make everything, and I don't know what you'll have to build it with, because just digging, I mean, unless you can make concrete up there, something, if it's even sustainable there, we don't know. I mean, they must be testing all that stuff right now, possibly, if you can make something like that, because what we do, like the basement, like the subway, most easiest is just to dig the hole, put the things, and then make a tunnel over and put the soil on the top. But
Right.
building something underground, like the old shafts, like old mine, figure like an old mine shafts for gold or whatever. You just have to build a thing inside. That means you have to support all that earth above you, or soil, or whatever it is, rocks, whatever you call it, all that Martian shit above you. You have to support it somehow, otherwise it's gonna collapse on you. I think it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Looks like a soil to me, looks like a sand or whatever, some kind. It's not sustainable. If you dig a hole and you don't support it, it'll collapse on you.
That's a good point that you bring up. Like, for example, we can make stainless steel that's uh, relative to our atmosphere, right? And it can sustain whatever's going on Earth. But what happens if you put stainless steel on Mars? Do you think it'll have the same effects, or it'll get deteriorated, or
Yeah,
could
that's
it?
something have to be tested. Yeah, looks like that sucker is pretty much sustainable everywhere, but like any other form, I mean, what we can build it with, how do we support stuff? It is regular steel, like you bring like a jacks and jack it up and then pour the concrete, and where are we gonna make it? They don't have any kind of stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
all these things we know and we build by, it's from this earth. This earth has a lot of stuff, my friend.
Yeah. And we're able to
We
use it and build stuff from it.
exactly. This earth is mostly about everything you can possibly think of. I don't know what Mars has. We don't
I wonder if
know.
you can make anything from the materials that Mars
Mhm.
offers.
Right. Exactly. They have some rocks, but you have to find some other rocks and create some kind of mixing material to build with.
Right.
Otherwise, you cannot bring it from here. How long we're talking about crucial things about Earth, so we take everything from here there. But how long that's gonna last, and how long you can be able to do that? That doesn't seem like reasonable or kind of sustainable situation for 7 billion people plus.
No, yeah. I mean
If this
that's
go down to hell, sometimes it's gonna be 10 billions of us, and what are we gonna do up there? I mean, we cannot do that.
well, we would have to. I mean, if you were going to make a bunker and live underground, let's say in Mars, right? You would have to. But if you would have to have some type of. Well, see, here we go. Maybe this. I'll get into it a little bit later, but maybe this goes back into it. But you would have to bring the ship itself that the transport ship that you're taking from Earth to Mars would have to have like. I mean, it would have to be so big, and it would have to defy the physics that we know now. It can't just be a rocket and shooting two people up in the atmosphere. It's got to be like a tanker ship. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It has to be big. It has to defy gravity in such a way and fly in such a way that we don't know how it works because
Right.
we just shoot rockets,
Or it
right?
have to be based on some kind of slingshot, like it have to be like train, some kind of starship train, which will continuously, like a belt between Earth and Mars,
Right.
continuously working.
Like,
Otherwise,
I
goodbye.
mean, you would have to have like a big tanker ship of a spaceship to load up food.
Right.
I don't know if you're gonna make reinforced concrete, which is one of the toughest shit to break on Earth. When you put the iron rods in cement with the mortar and blocks, that's really tough.
Right.
But it's also very heavy. So you would have to have iron, you would have to have cement, you would have to have sand, you would have to have water. I mean, that's really, really heavy stuff. And if you're gonna
Or you
put it
have
on,
to start making all that up there and create all the same bullshit like we do it here.
right,
No. But it's not
you would
for
have
all
to.
of us either, you know. It's don't think about 7 billion or 10 billion. It's for 10 most prominent people. You know, it's gonna be Prince Charles and Elon Musk and Bill Gates and a couple others, and forget the fucks. You know,
Sure.
it's not gonna be for all of us. You know, everybody go to hell. It's gonna boom. You know, so
Yeah, but what is the point of Prince Charles going to Mars, to be honest? What is he going to do with that?
I know. You know, it's
What
like
the fuck, you know? Like,
the oldest living royal family. I mean, he's valuable for that.
unless he's gonna be preserved, like Mars, like extends your
I know.
extends your lifespan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's gonna be Williams and little Georgie, you know. Those people gonna go up there because they have something to do with the earth.
Archie,
People knows them, you know.
yeah,
You can dig up history. We don't have what kind of history you have, you know. Not
yeah,
much.
but wouldn't all the history be left in Buckingham Palace if little Archie goes?
Possibly, but maybe they have some kind of capsule already. You never know what these people are up to.
Or maybe or they already have an underground Buckingham Palace
They
on
might.
Mars already.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know, man.
You only know what they tell you.
Would you be surprised if there was a Buckingham Palace on Mars?
Well, I'll be surprised, but after that, I can get over it pretty soon.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, even so, right? I mean, Prince Charles, If I was an alien, what would you want? I mean, you wouldn't know who Prince Charles is or was, or
But maybe you do, because he is the man. It's the history. So he was here before, like Pharaoh, and we kind of take some of these people who are important.
so they're gonna make a museum on Mars.
Yeah. Exactly.
Can you imagine like some alien guy is like on a different planet and he's like I don't know what he's watching. Maybe he's intelligent, maybe he's not, but they're listening on the radio and there's like beep 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 Charles. Yeah, okay, aha, I know that guy.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, I have the little castle in Earth, and I have a museum up here in Mars. Come and see me.
Yeah. He's broadcasting from Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what I don't understand about this Mars that Elon Musk, I don't know if he's still wanting to do that, but he wanted to have that show, right? To have like the first 9 astronauts or whatever to go up to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to make that show. Okay, look, I don't know. See, our astronauts, people who are, they know a lot of things, right? They know like physics and astrophysics and
Right,
I don't
they have to know a lot of stuff.
engineering, right? And they wanted to make that reality TV show about the 9 people going up to Mars, the first 9 people. And I remember the first 9. I don't know if it's still available, but it was like a mother of 3, the local guy who goes to the pub every Friday night. There was like random people that signed up for that, and they got accepted. I mean, you can't send those 9 people up to Mars, dude. Like, you know what I mean? You got a random mom of 3. You got a single dude, and you got there was like a guy who was like a, I don't know, he was like a off the grid gardener. I mean,
Well, maybe you can. I mean, because you're always thinking like, gets the smartest guy. What's the smartest guy knows? He doesn't know shit about Backstreet Live.
no, he doesn't. No,
Yeah.
the reason why is that the smart guy says, "I stay here. I'll send you there."
Yeah, exactly.
That's the smart guy. He's not gonna go there. Why would he do that?
Yeah. So you're gonna have to bring some of these rednecks up there. Who else gonna
Somebody
go up
who's
there?
like crazy enough to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, but I don't know. It's gonna be either a big failure or a big success. Maybe they would succeed. Maybe it'll be a success.
A big success.
Can you imagine they sent Borat up there? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a guy to send for the aliens to meet him.
He'll fuck them up. So I go on Mars right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do too. Jesus. Oh man, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, why not? I mean, I don't think it'll happen in the lifetime that I'm going to be living in, but I'm pretty sure that there will be generations of people living on Mars.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know.
I don't think the generations. It can be like you say, a couple of guys could be living there, but just like look at these people who are up in that space station. Somebody's up there all the time right now.
Right, there's like 6 people.
What the hell? I mean,
Yeah,
if you're gonna be 6 months up above the earth, I mean, God bless. I don't really want to be that.
yeah. I don't even
So
want to be that either.
Yeah, so under Mars, I don't think it's any better so far.
Unless Mars had stuff like here, like you can go to Mars and you can chill in the you can go have and sit down and have a meal like in a restaurant. Then maybe I would go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's gonna take a while.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't think I want to be involved in any of that. But I mean, if you could go to Mars and you can like, there's a beach and you could go surfing and you can have a hamburger or something, then maybe yes.
Make it like a Dubai and the Mars. I'll go.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. I would pay for that, man.
Yeah.
But that's
Exactly.
that's all gonna take time. I mean, you would, like I said, the main thing is time. We don't have enough time. You would
Yeah.
you would have to. That's why the aliens like real proper aliens, that we like think about, that are gray with the big eyes, that they fold the space and time, meaning that their technology brings Mars and Earth closer together and time wise, and they can get here like in milliseconds. That's
Right.
what you would have to have.
Exactly.
Otherwise, then you would have Dubai on Mars, man.
Right.
Dude.
But so far, just has a flying toilet and steak out of a plastic bag, just pouring up and then bubble it up. I pass.
Like a freeze dried steak doesn't
Yeah.
sound appetizing.
No.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
How do you think that's why they only stayed like 6 months on the ISS? They change every 6 months because they're like, fuck this food, I want to get out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Plus all that stuff. I mean, those guys like I mean, they have to exercise all the time. You're losing your muscle. You're losing all that. Last time that guy was there, like what, a year, and they drop him in the desert in Russia. The guy couldn't even talk, couldn't even walk because it was like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. So that's what's gonna happen on Mars. I mean,
Yeah, you're gonna have severe muscle atrophy.
yeah,
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to sustain that.
yeah, exactly. So unless you create some kind of, you will have to have, I have no idea. I mean, you will have to create, well, that's the problem. If you try to create same thing what we have and you cannot adapt and you try to create everything we have on Earth, that's unsustainable. I mean, if you try to go some kind of specialized, pressurized shit, which kind of has the same atmosphere on the Earth, that's crazy talk.
Yeah,
cannot,
you
cannot
would have
live like that. No.
not like that. Not in the beginning, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
You would have to create. You would have to somehow make Mars. You would have to.
Everything has to be like Earth.
Yeah, you would have to be able to manipulate the atmosphere pretty good.
Right.
I mean, to your levels.
Or some kind of pressurized gyms or pressurized quarters where you feel like you're under Earth.
Right.
Well,
Plus the gravity.
but what's going to do that? Do we even have technology doing that? I mean, how are you going to do that? All that stuff.
I don't know. You would have to first somehow adapt to whatever the pressure is and gravity is on Mars. You would have to adapt to that, and then you would have to build. You couldn't. I don't think so. I think maybe you can. I'm not sure. I don't know anything about space or anything, but I'm assuming, and this is a big assumption. Whatever, but you would have to probably have. That's what I'm saying. I think in order to sustain life on Mars, you would have to be able to manipulate Mars in the way that's manipulated for you. You couldn't reproduce Earth conditions on Mars. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Because you would have to be able to build stuff using Mars material. You would have to be able to run using that. I think that's why you would have to have like maybe 1,000 years of, if not more, before people will be able to manipulate Mars because they're so adapted to it,
Right.
that they can use the sand on Mars and build a house from it, use the pressure of gravity and play sports in that atmosphere.
Right.
Your brain or your muscles would be adapted to that type of atmosphere, just like we are adapted to this atmosphere.
But look at how hard it's gonna be if you cannot breathe there, so figure we cannot walk there, we cannot live there, we cannot do anything there. So even Elon have to bring his drilling machine and start digging the hole, and you always have to have enough oxygen to get back to some other station. You have to think always all these other things. It's not like you can get up and get a cigar pausa, get a cigar and smoke it, right? It's not. It's anything like here. So can you imagine how difficult that have to be?
Yeah.
To always have something in backup. The tractor have to be pressurized, have enough oxygen on the way to go in, on the way back. You have to step off of it somewhere so you don't get burned. I mean, what the fuck?
What happens if it breaks down?
Yeah, exactly. So
you wouldn't be able to.
I mean, that's just. It seems to me, it seems too difficult for be doing anything out of it. That planet is just fucked. To me, I don't think it's need to be explored anymore. Unless something drastically happened, but even so we find the water. So what? Water, I know, but then we can make oxygen, but then we can make it what to store it where? I mean, you have to think of all these things you don't have up there. You cannot just get out. You're in the house. They say you have quarantine. Put it that way. So, okay, so I'll go out of the house. That's fine. I can stay there. I can walk to the Rybnik. I can walk to the store. I can walk to do whatever I want to do. But over there, you won't be able to do any of those things.
Right, because one, they're not available, and two, there's absolutely nothing there.
Right.
You're creating all that you're creating a society from scratch.
All of this.
That almost seems like ancient Egypt in one way, where they're creating a society out of nothing, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't have anything. Like the ancient Sumerians, Egyptians, Aryans, those people who lived in Mesopotamia, they didn't have anything.
Yeah, right.
But they were able to manipulate their surroundings enough to be able to live a sustainable life.
But even if they say how emergency that is on Earth, so how long this Earth's gonna last? They're telling us or they're creating it that this one gonna last 20 more years. Okay, we have a serious issue. But even if we do, we don't gonna make it. And no matter how fast you're gonna do it, it's impossible. Because look at this, like you're talking about, this was 3,000 years before counting, BC, right?
Right.
So how long it's gonna take to build this under Mars? 3,000 BC and 2,000 AC, that's 5,000 years. Is that worth it? I mean, can we do it? Can we do it and still have a backup support on the Earth? Or if the Earth goes, then what we have on Mars? Nothing.
Well,
you can talk 20 years.
Because
5,000 years on Mars
from
without Earth, without Earth, I mean, you're screwed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, if you're talking about 5,000 years on Mars, is Earth still gonna? I'm assuming 5,000 years from now, right? That if we go this path, that we're trying to pioneer and create a society or a civilization on Mars, and we are able to I'm thinking that in 5,000 years that there would be possibility to move half of, or if not more, of the population from Earth to Mars. So
but what are you talking about? What kind of population are you talking about from 5,000 years now? Greta Thunberg can only look at it to 2050. Everybody's gonna die.
Right. Well, let's say that if we were able to just keep the same amount of population, right, this 7 billion or so that we have, and it doesn't double in size, it doesn't decrease drastically, it still stays around 7 billion, and it's able to stay this 7 billion. And let's time travel. Let the 7 billion that's on alive today are still the same 7 billion that are alive 5,000 years from now, right? It won't be, but let's just say. So then you would have, they would like, if you take, well, let's put it in this perspective. Like when the Chernobyl accident happened in 1986 in Ukraine, and it blew up, and and it decimated the forest around it, right? And nothing can grow there. Nobody can live there, basically. And it's just a dead zone, right? And they say that it's going to take 50,000 years before it's livable again. Well, okay, so if it's 50,000 years on Earth and it's going to be livable again, and we're talking about 5,000 years, well, then that Chernobyl is going to look pretty much the same. It's going to be orange. It's going to be dead. It's going to be irradiated and so on. But But now, if you look at it, it's been 30 years, 35 years since the accident. And in that dead place, there's things kind of grow, and it's overtaken some of the houses, and, because it's been abandoned, and nature starts to, take over.
Right.
Right. So
you have like a frog with 4 legs,
right.
6 legs, 2 heads.
Yeah, so and they kind of
things
adapt.
Grow in there, all right.
Well, they grow, right?
A little bit too much.
Yeah. So, getting back to my point is that if you took those 7 let's say you were able to transport 3 billion people to Mars, right, in 5,000 years. So you're taking large groups of population out of these large urban areas.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden nature will start, overgrowing, and because people are not going to take care of those places because they're not there, right? And so the Earth will definitely look a lot different if you take a large population from Earth to Mars.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be the same. I think Earth is going to be a lot different when you transfer like people from different planets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy, my friend.
What are you drinking?
Just capping another one.
Nice.
Milk.
Oh yeah, milk is always good. Yeah. No, seriously, what did you open?
Carmelita.
Nice.
Carmel.
Yeah. Oh, that's always a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think.
So I think without that support, 5,000 years from now, I mean, God bless. I mean, do it. Seriously, do it.
Well, that's assuming, that's also based on an assumption that Earth is going to exist in 5,000 years as well.
But I think in some point they're doing that it won't exist. So, I mean, I thinking about it this way backwards like that, I think it's just a lost cause. I mean, we don't need to go to Mars. There's nothing there.
And also think about it too, in 5,000 years, if there's anybody going to be alive at that time who's still going to pursue such a feat to go to Mars.
I still don't understand why don't we go more to the moon, make it as a station and shoot rockets out of that? Why are we going all the way to Mars? It's so far away. If Mars is better for that, I don't know, but I think they're thinking like beat the gravity and all that, just haul all that fuel to the moon. Haul all that shit into the moon.
Yeah, why can't we just why can't we do the same thing with the moon then?
Yeah, maybe there is something we don't know about the moon. They know. Because that's been abandoned and we don't go there anymore. So they're always saying we need some kind of station. Let's say if we have so much fuel like that, taking off from the moon or outside, which doesn't have that much gravity like here, we should be shooting shit all the way who knows where and much quicker. So
it seems like a logical step to get to the moon first and then make some kind of
important thing is to get off this Earth to go somewhere else. Moon provides that, but I don't know if you cannot be there or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, what is it with what's going on with that moon, bro? Like we haven't been there since the 60s and 70s, or
I
like
know.
I don't understand. I don't understand why we don't explore it further, or
Yeah,
was that it? Like
exactly.
we've explored everything.
I know, and it's good for nothing. So, but it could still be a base space thing. What's the difference between Mars and the moon in that point? Something we don't know. I get it,
Right.
right? But what's the basic difference between those two planets? Or moon is not a planet, but I'm saying it's a spot up there which you don't have to fight gravity. You don't have to do all these things, and it's much closer. We could have
Especially
already something built up there which we're bringing from here.
yeah, that's always that's an interesting question. I mean, how come the like people on Earth stopped going to the moon? I mean, if we were going back to our earlier point, if it's going to take, if it's true, if it's going to take 5,000 years or more to do all this to recreate Earth on Mars, let's say that's, I don't know the numbers, right? Doesn't matter. But, and it's been 60 years and we haven't been back to the moon. Well, we haven't even, why would we start on something so far away when we can see and test if it's going to work out on the moon? And it's going to give us a little bit more basis, a little bit more information on what we need to do and expect when we get to Mars.
Exactly. I'm not sure. I mean, there's something about it because they don't go there. Why that space station is flying around the Earth and people doing all these experiments? You can sit up there on the moon. Would that be much easier? Just be in one place. We can have the place landing in and out of that, just like we do. If we can land a rover on the moon, we can land a rover on the Mars. So what's the difference?
Yeah, it seems like it would be easier to conduct experiments in space when you're actually on something that doesn't move as quickly as the space station.
We can place this station in Antarctica, so why can't we make something like that out of tubes, which sitting on the moon?
Yeah, I would think that would be possible.
Yeah.
Especially when living in Antarctica is like a extreme condition anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't know.
Maybe it's
And
written in a law somewhere.
It's not habitable, or some aliens told us don't fuck with it.
I'm pretty sure some aliens told us don't fuck with fuck with the moon.
I know.
Dude.
There is conspiracy as different things that the aliens comes here and says, don't do that.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I don't. First of all, do you believe in aliens, man?
Well, it's an interesting subject, but
yeah,
I'm not sure if they're here or not. But
I would think
to believe something that you cannot prove that it exists.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? You can't prove the non-existence or the existence of.
Yeah, exactly.
That
for little people, we don't really know if something like this happened.
On the flip side, we would have to be aliens to them too, right? Because we're an unknown being for them, and we are an unknown being. They are an unknown being for us.
Right.
We would be aliens too. I think we are aliens as well. We have to be.
Sure we are.
To other people that are other beings, let's say, who are living on Pluto, if it's possible.
Right.
I don't know.
We are aliens to ourselves here. I mean, what looks like us? Nothing. We're fucking creatures balance themselves on two pegs. Nothing functions like that. Not all animals. I mean, it's fucking crazy what we are. Nothing look like us.
Nothing even remotely behaves like us.
Exactly. So,
as far as social behaviors.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there are similarities, of course, but
but you can find that in anything. I mean, the rocks looks like another, right? So it's similar, but it's completely different. It's the gold specimens which are different. It's not just rock. Everything is different, but us, I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're a completely different species of anything that I don't know.
I think that we are. I don't know if we're animals. I wouldn't classify us as animals. I know we're part of the animal kingdom, but I think we're outside that. I think we transcend the animal kingdom. There's animal kingdom with animals and the hierarchy of animals, and then us.
Right.
Of course, we can get killed by all those animals, but I think,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
for sure. But I think that's why I think when you look at the food chains, the humans are always at the top, right?
We can get killed by anything, but look at what we all do. I mean, you're wearing clothing, you're building homes, you're building blankets, you're building cars, we're building all this shit because we know how fragile we are.
Exactly.
A dog doesn't know that. He doesn't build any of that.
No.
He doesn't
Neither
know
do
how
I.
fragile he is. He goes at the giraffe and says, "I'll fuck you up," right?
Right.
And it's the smallest dog ever.
Yeah, they don't have self-control as we do.
Right.
Yeah, they don't have food control. They don't have appetite control. They just basic. They have emotions. Everything. They have emotions, but they. I don't think they know how to control their emotions. I also don't think that they know how to. They don't have a size differentiation. They don't care.
No.
Yeah, I think they just base their lives on instinct.
Right.
They don't know anything else outside of that. I don't think. I think dogs can realize speech patterns, but they don't know what you're saying. They don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
They understand. I know that they understand like the tones of your voice and your.
Right.
They understand that stuff, but they don't fully understand it.
Yeah, but then look at the behaviors, how long they've been around us. I mean, this goes down to thousand of years. They've been here before, BC. Dogs and cats been with the humans the longest. They've been around. So they know our behaviors. That's translate down to generations. It's like us.
Sure.
We are born with certain intellectuals in us, and we know what is expect of us.
Right.
It's in us, and the dogs are similar. Right. Because it's been with us the longest, so he understands the behavior. That's only the time.
Yeah, and that's interesting. What's interesting is that dogs, they have evolved, but they're relatively the same. They know our behaviors, but they still don't quite understand us.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting that they haven't evolved into anything that remotely can act like us or be like us, or we, they.
Right.
I don't know that if we talk to dogs and we talk to cats all the time, and they don't know how to talk back to us. That's what's interesting to me.
Right. But they have behaviors. They bark at us. They scratch you.
Yeah.
They bite you. They do all different things too. They reply.
Yeah.
They communicate.
Yeah.
They want to play with you. They know where the dog is mad. You know where dog is mad, and we know where he wants to play. He's barking, but he's playing.
Right.
He's not mad at you, right?
No.
So he's
and
barking.
We kind of intrinsically know that.
Right. Exactly. So there you go.
It's interesting. Yeah. And they know when you're hyper, and they know when you're tired, and
exactly.
Yeah. Dogs and cats are fascinating.
The communication is there, but it's completely different scenario.
Do you think it would be the same as if I don't know, 1,000 years ago, people did the same thing with chickens? Do you think chickens would, or if they were around us as pets for thousands of years, and we've been around them, do you think that chickens or other animals would be able to kind of understand us more?
Well, people have those animals around too.
Right, I know, but people have chickens around and things around, but I think they don't let them sleep in the beds.
Right.
We don't give them the same kind of care.
In Kazakhstan, we do.
Well, maybe Kazakhstan, but I wonder if the chickens in Kazakhstan know. You know what I'm saying? Like if we treated them as pets, as well, right? Do you
Right.
think that they would have the same behaviors like cats and dogs?
No, possibly.
That'd be interesting, man.
You know, we treat them as a pets only a certain point when you get hungry, and then they go on the plate.
Right. And we don't do that with cats and dogs,
Right.
you know. So
Exactly.
I wonder
And I
if,
think they know that too.
yeah.
So I think that chicken kind of lives there, but scared shitless. You know,
What happened? Well, what do you think would happen if the chicken didn't have to live in that type of fear of?
I don't know. No.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right, man.
Yeah.
Are you-
So,
What are you up to?
I don't know, not much.
What is going on on the football this
Oh,
weekend? Any big matches?
Nothing until Leicester next week,
Leicester next week.
Thursday. Yeah.
The EuroLeague, right?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a match.
Mhm.
So, all right, man. I think it's a good
Yeah. We put
time to
what
wrap it
2
up.
hours.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty good, man.
All right.
All right, man. So thanks for coming. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right, man.
When is the next time you want to do this?
Just give me a call.
All right, I'll give you a call and
Check it out.
invite you back on the show.
All right.
All right, man. Always a
Good.
pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for
All
joining
right.
us.
Thanks.
All right, man. Peace.